Some national level is lead for fun.
Ton père, et même après le décès de ton père, tes frères peuvent te déloger de ce territoire.
So they make a decision together. Social
The forest was a place where we could run to look for medicine. Up to today, our people still rely on herbal medicine more than the conventional medicine.
And we were established like in 2001 in the refugee camps along the Thai-Myanmar border. And our approach is based on FPIC, free and full prior consent. And
it's almost like 4 to 5 hours, very far. Yes,
By walk.
by track. 4 to 5 hours, or 6, even 6 hours.
Wow.
So
So what began as a dream to some of them, a lot of women in fact, actually came to a reality when we got this project. It was called Building Resilience and Weaving Gender Responsive Approaches to Biodiversity Governance. And within that, there were three-pronged objectives or goals. The overall goal was to build strengthen gender-responsive ecosystem restoration approaches at national goals and international commitments. And within that, we had like a three-pronged approach to it, which is to increase the capacities of women to analyze conservation and restoration of their own biodiversity and ecosystems. The second one was to increase recognition and support gender and biodiversity in national and regional level planning. And then through that, inform global policy narratives. One of the major chunk of this was to support women-led or gender-responsive ecosystem approaches in 6 different sites. 2 in Latin America, 2 in Africa, and 2 in Asia Pacific regions. When we first started out, this was in 2021, we had 2 partners from our restoration site who were confirmed. One was from Solomon Islands in Argentina, and then we had Kenya who was confirmed as a third partner. So in Solomon Islands, in Hageulu, there is a forest ecosystem restoration being carried out by the women in Hageulu community. In Argentina, we had a bunch of a wetland conservation that was happening. In Kenya, when we got it confirmed, it was happening as a forest ecosystem restoration in the Kamatira in West Pokot County. We then also had 2 more confirmation sites of Costa Rica and Cameroon. In Costa Rica, it was looking at in both of these regions actually, Costa Rica and Cameroon, we were looking at mangrove restoration. And we also had our 6th site, which was in Myanmar in the Salvin Peace Park in the region of Kautule. And this is where we had the women research group looking at ethnobotanical species survey across the restored areas. And then, of course, through these 6 sites in the last 3 years, we've been building and sharing, and we've got a whole bunch of stories that were shared through different narratives. And the intention of this project is for them to learn and advocate together and in their own regions. The writing workshop, which we call it as Writeshop, was envisioned to bring the partners from these 6 sites to come together as we come to the close of this project to look at what have been the learnings, what are something that they are absolutely proud of during this process. So what are some things that didn't work, but there was some learning coming out of it. And how do we collectively advocate for a gender responsive approach to ecosystem restoration. So the Writeshop aimed to bring all the writers of the various case studies that we hope to launch during COP together to discuss these various learnings, a collective understanding, and to kind of chart a path forward even beyond the project period, to build a world together, a space together where we have our learnings, to include women's voices, especially within ecosystem restoration, as this is the UN decade for ecosystem restoration, as we all know. However, women's voices and gender responsive aspects have been very absent in the ecosystem restoration approaches because there's not enough evidence, there's not enough documentation. So through this Writeshop, we hope to bring those evidences of these various restoration initiatives happening in these 6 regions and even beyond more, to kind of share it with the rest of the world. And how do we ensure that more women are included when we talk about ecosystem restoration?
The project that I have done in Solomon Island is, through the support of women biodiversity, is the restoration of tubi trees or tubi forest in Hageulu community in Gao district, Isabel province in Solomon Island. Because tubi tree is an endemic species, and also there are high demanding of this tree from foreigners or companies that doing logging or even mining. So the project is to restore some of the tubi trees that have been bent in this site. It's around 2 to 4 hectares of land that we are trying to restore, led by women in Hageulu community in Isabel province. One of the proudest moment or achievement that I have achieved in this project is the involvement of forestry. There is a local botanist in Solomon Island by the name of Maini Sirikolo, who is doing the biodiversity survey in this area, and it is a big achievement for me as it's collect the data, what's the environment like, and also he do awareness with the community. The community come to understand the importance of the trees and animals around of them. They become proud too for themselves and surrounding of the environment. And also I want to add on, one of the proudest moment is the support of Solomon Island Environmental Law Association, Solomon Islands Rangers Association, and the Isabel Provincial Government, which we have been signing a memorandum of understanding in 2022. So these are the proud achievement that I come across in this project.
So Women for Biodiversity is supporting Kisan's work in Northern Salween Peace Park in Karen State in Myanmar, and particularly supporting the Indigenous Women's Research Group there. So the Karen women are joining with the local communities to document important species. So right now they're doing ethnobotanical surveys, and that is one of our proud achievements. So throughout the course of the project, we've been able to carry out seasonal surveys in 3 different forest types: montane, pinus, and mixed deciduous forest, in community forests in Northern Salween Peace Park. And we've already been able to document over 130 ethnobotanical species, such as herbal medicines, sacred plants, species important for food and for handicrafts as well. And another one of our proud achievements has been tree plantation events. So through the tree nursery, which grows native plant varieties, and then planting them in degraded areas around Kashota forest. So the communities have been able to plant more than 1,000 trees of over 30 different kinds of native species, which is really amazing. And that's been in degraded forest areas around Kashota Community Forest. So yeah, we're proud of that.
Kamatira is a restoration site found in West Pokot County in Kenya. It was started in 2022 with the support of Women for Biodiversity, and the implementers are Pastoral Community Empowerment Program, which I represent. And I'm proud to be one of the people who have started the women-led restoration as a result of our partnership with the Women for Biodiversity. For that reason, the Kamatira site, or the pilot site for biodiversity conservation, is a women-led. But as I talk, is a women-led. We have done a lot of things which I'm proud of. We have started to establish the tree nurseries, and especially with the using the indigenous seedlings, and now we have the seedlings from indigenous trees. And the most proudest time of my life in this project is when we started planting the indigenous tree, which we had to transplant from our tree nurseries made by women and some few youths which joined us. And this is a time that we rallied all the county, the government people, the communities, the agricultural department, and many other stakeholders, plus the women whom themselves started the nurseries, to plant the trees at Kamatira, a site called Kaituma. And I'm proud because I could see the trees now growing, and seeing the women as part of the rehabilitators and restorers of the biodiversity. We have the trees now growing at almost 3 to 5 meters in 2 years, and that's the proudest time that I celebrate, because it shows us a strength of being able to bring our minds together, bringing the people together, and using the indigenous knowledge to plant these trees and to conserve it. And besides that, it is actually showing me the fact that we have a mission and a vision to live for, and the other generations will see the work we have done. So it's a transfer of knowledge to our youths and even the community to change their attitude completely, to conserve our forests. We own it, and also to continue teaching the generations to come, and the generations will come if will be able to see what we have done, the medicines that we have planted, the fruit trees that we have planted. So that is the time that I'm feeling is the most important and motivating for me.
Avant de commencer, bien de vous donner ma réponse, j'adresse mes remerciements à Women for Biodiversity d'avoir pensé à cette collaboration avec le REFACOF. Alors, qu'est-ce qui nous rend fiers, qu'est-ce qui nous rend heureux dans le cadre de cette initiative? Vous savez, c'est vrai, le REFACOF travaille avec les communautés, et plus précisément la communauté de Londi depuis 2011. Mais il y avait très longtemps, on n'avait pas eu cette collaboration avec cette communauté, au point où notre communauté a été dispersée. Alors, avec l'arrivée de cette initiative de Women for Biodiversity, nous avons amené la communauté à travailler ensemble. Ça n'a pas été du tout facile parce qu'elle était dispersée. Il a fallu que le réseau des femmes africaines pour la gestion communautaire des forêts manage sa communauté à travers des réunions d'information, de sensibilisation. Aujourd'hui, nous pouvons être fiers que notre communauté de Londi est déjà un groupe bien structuré, elle est dynamique et elle est indépendante sur les questions de restauration. Aujourd'hui, nous pouvons être fiers également que le site qui a été choisi dans la restauration pour être restauré est un site qui est en bon état. Alors, la communauté étant indépendante continue, sans toutefois l'appui du REFACOF, à continuer à restaurer et à suivre l'espace qui a été restauré. Alors, nous lançons donc un appel à toujours à Women for Biodiversity, pourquoi pas à d'autres partenaires de continuer à soutenir les communautés de Londi, que ce soit techniquement ou financièrement, pour qu'ils continuent à restaurer leurs espaces dégradés. Nous pouvons donc être fiers, une fois de plus, que notre communauté, bien structurée et bien capable, avec des capacités de travailler ensemble, alors notre communauté est dynamique et on peut se taper la main dans la poitrine que nous avons réalisé notre projet.
Desde FARN nos sentimos muy orgullosas de haber podido apoyar este proyecto de la Fundación Inalafken, que está conformada por un grupo de mujeres que desde hace muchos años vienen trabajando por la conservación y la restauración de los ecosistemas costeros-marinos en la bahía de San Antonio Oeste, en la Patagonia Argentina. Poder apoyar este proyecto de restauración con perspectiva de género fue muy importante para la región, para el fortalecimiento comunitario. Y un punto muy importante que tuvo este proyecto fue la realización del Festival de Aves Playeras, que es un festival que se realiza desde hace 14 años y este año pudimos apoyarlo con el proyecto. Es un festival que reúne artistas, empresarios, políticos, la sociedad en general, la comunidad, los operadores turísticos, los educadores y las educadoras que trabajan en la educación ambiental y en la sensibilización y la conciencia que se necesita para la conservación y la restauración de estos ecosistemas tan sensibles como son los ecosistemas dunares y la preservación de estas aves playeras altamente migratorias y que se encuentran muy amenazadas actualmente por la pérdida de la biodiversidad y el cambio climático. Este festival fue un hito muy importante como oportunidad para sensibilizar, generar una muy buena estrategia de comunicación, involucrar a la comunidad y poder continuar con este plan de restauración que necesita el involucramiento social muy activo para esa transformación social y ambiental que se necesita.
This approach, human rights based in gender, is the most important.
Angelina,